Hey, and welcome back to Process Education. This is Ed. Today we're going to be looking at the ticker NAKD, company called Naked Brand Group Limited. This is one of the stocks that we had 140% runner. It actually ran a little bit even larger during the day. So I'm just going to be doing a quick technical analysis over the stock and whether you should hold it or whether you should sell it or maybe even buy. So taking a quick look around the 1 month, 1 day, we can see that it has been sloppy for quite a bit. I think it's been trading in the 56 to 50 region, and it did jump a little bit around 83 at some point early on. I'm going to be looking here through first the 1 month, 1 day, and we can see that there's massive volume that it has seen around 159.97 million to around 160 million. We can see the day before it's been around somewhere between 14 million, and then in the previous week, it's around 21 million. So from the day before, we can see that it has traded around 10 times, around 15 times larger than the day before. Looking into different directional index, we can see, for instance, the average directional index, it is a little bit higher than what I would like to be comfortable with. However, the William %R shows a little bit more of a neutral level. Now, in terms of momentum, once that momentum drops down, you're going to probably be seeing a red. We can see here, drops, it's going to be red. Now, I really doubt that this momentum is still going on, as it would be considered a multi-day runner, especially in the 140% degree. That's a little bit more dangerous. Looking into what the averages are, so the 10 SMA is again above 30 EMA, which is a good sign, but again, that's not very reliable in this situation. Let's start looking into the 1 month, 1 hour period. So the 1 month, 1 hour period, now Fibonacci retracement is a little bit harder to be accurate in this case, so I'll go more around into all the way down to here, and we can see it's sitting out of Fibonacci retracement just a little bit below it, around 134. So I'll probably say yes, it has actually been met by the Fibonacci retracement. So slight rebound is a little bit likely since it's already meeting there. Another thing that you would notice once we zoom in, I'll just get there in a second. To the 5 days, 1 hour, is that it's actually in the trader action zone. And what's the trader action zone? That's when the price is currently between your 10 SMA and 30 EMA, and that's where reversal is a little bit likely. And you can see that a little bit happened when from green to red to green, and then back to red. So it's a highly volatile candlesticks happening here. One thing that I want to point at is I previously mentioned, when the MACD line touches the signal line, that's a little bit of a dangerous situation here, which signals a chance for a reversal, more of in a negative direction. And so you have, instead of a positive histogram, you'll have a negative histogram. And that's very likely. And we can see that the histogram has decreased quite a lot and has potential to flip around on the other side. So as I said here, the volume is a lot higher, and you can see that in the previous days, the unbalanced volume is around 7.50. Meanwhile, it has jumped somewhere around 140 and then decreased. So what could have happened here, in my opinion, is the stock was pumped up and then dumped. So pump and dump is more of a known term a little bit in penny stock world more than anything. And what happens is the price is inflated and then sold at a higher price. And then what happens is people buying in at the top are stuck with stuck with stocks that are very expensive, and they don't know what to do with it. So if you bought a 262, I really am sorry, but I don't really think that it will bounce out. As pre-COVID, I think the maximum price was just a little bit over $260 to $50, and so we probably won't be seeing something like a $10 run. Now, the industry was a little bit hurting from before COVID, so adding into that, it can be a little bit tough to maneuver. So from technical analysis standpoint, it is a bit struggling. Now, you can see here that the supports and resistance are not accurate. So we'll have to go around the 3 months, nope, not even 3 months, around I think 6 months, 1 day period, to try to find what the resistance is on and the supports that are probably going to be met for this stock. Now, there was a split around December, so I probably won't be looking before December, because then it changes. It's more of an accounting trick, in my opinion. So it changes a little bit the supports and the resistance. So the stock price is around 163. I would say that the next support is going around a little bit around 150, and the next resistance is more around 170, and the pivot point around 166, so around that range. So in a way, it's a little bit closer to support, but it's still in a very dangerous period. So what does that mean to me? What that is telling me is that this stock is probably going to still see a little bit more bleeding in the next few days, or next day or so, or even in the extended market based on MACD. That will be confirmed when we look a little bit through the 30-minute candlestick. 30 minutes here. And start seeing that there's a negative MACD, and in fact the signal line is above the MACD, so that's a little bit more dangerous. But we still have the candles around the trader action zone, so we could still see a negative, but at the same time you can have what we call a dead cat bounce, and we can see it hit a little bit around 150, a little bit less than 2. So that's what we're looking at. This is a stock that is very dangerous to hold, especially since it can easily go down to the, I think around was what, 0.7 cents. So let's say you buy it around opening or in the aftermarket around 140, you literally lose half the value of the stock. So if you were to get stuck down at this level, 0.7, every $1,000 would be around $500, and that's a big loss, especially if you have bigger volume. Now, what I can see here is that there's around 107 million bag holders still here, from compared with a low float of around, let's say, 7 million or so. At some point, they want to sell, and especially if you have weaker hands, once a selling wave occurs, the price can really hurt. So from my perspective, I wouldn't touch the stock whatsoever, at least in the next day or so. But if you are still in there and you're still holding the bag, you want to look very carefully into what happens in the pre-market. And as you go closer around 7:30, some additional pre-markets open, but I would definitely try to sell this in the first thing in the morning. However, you can still have a dead cat bounce, so at this point it's more of a gamble into what direction it's going to go, since you still see a little bit of positive signs, but again, a red flag with the MACD and red flag that it's being pumped. So with every pump, there's a dump, and you don't want to be caught on there. I did check on the news, and I didn't find anything very substantial in the in here, except some sources on Bazinga and whatnot, but that's not very important at all to me. I'm trying to look for any forums or anything or any reports that have been put with this company. I don't see any recent ones, but it's quite interesting to see what happens for this stock. Thank you very much, and once again, if you want to put any DDs in the comment, I'll be happy to go over them. Make sure to like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.